Have you ever met a tree that thinks it's the strongest of all? Get ready for The Proud Oak and the Wise Reeds, where you'll discover how sometimes bending is the bravest thing you can do.
A very, very tall and strong oak tree lived by a babbling little brook. Next to the brook, tiny green reeds tickled the water with their gentle leaves. The big oak felt very proud and mighty with its strong branches reaching high up to the sky. The little reeds were much smaller and very thin, swaying softly as the day went by. When a gentle wind whispered through the land, the proud oak stood tall and straight, like a brave soldier. His many big branches hardly moved at all, showing off his strength. But the little reeds swayed and danced happily in the breeze, bending way down low with a soft, swishy sound. They felt a little tickly when the wind blew, and they always bowed their heads. They understood how to move with the wind. "Oh, dear reeds, why do you look so gloomy and bend so much?" asked the kind old oak, his voice a deep rumble. "You bend with every tiny puff of air, even when the water makes little ripples. You seem so weak and fragile to me." The proud oak puffed out his chest and held his head up high, feeling very grand and important. "I, the mighty oak, stand upright and firm like a superhero, even when the wind howls," he boasted loudly. He thought he was the strongest of all. "Don't worry about us, dear oak," whispered the flexible reeds, their voices like rustling paper. "The big winds might be strong, but they do not hurt us at all. We simply bow our heads and go with the flow, so we never, ever break." The reeds knew a secret about being truly strong, which wasn't about being stiff. "You, big oak, are so proud and stand so very stiff against everything," said the reeds, looking up at his strong trunk. "You have pushed back every big wind so far, acting like a giant wall." But the reeds wobbled gently, sharing a quiet, knowing secret only they understood. "A very, very big wind is coming soon, even bigger than before," they warned the proud tree. They felt a shiver of what was to come. Suddenly, the sky turned a dark, scary gray, and a super strong wind zoomed in from far away. It was a giant hurricane, roaring like a monster and shaking everything. The big, proud oak stood his ground, flexing his huge branches. He tried to fight the angry wind with all his mighty strength, holding on tight to the earth with his deep roots. But the little, clever reeds just bowed their heads way, way down to the ground again. They let the fierce wind push them and pull them around. The reeds hummed a soft, quiet song as they danced gracefully with the wind. They were not scared, because they knew that bending was a very safe game. The wind blew harder and harder, roaring its loudest now. The strong wind became a super-duper angry gust, howling and roaring even louder like a giant grumpy bear. The brave oak still tried his very best to stay upright. He made loud creaking and groaning noises as his old branches shook and shivered, trying to resist. Then, with a huge, loud crack, the proud old oak couldn't hold on anymore. His strong roots ripped right out of the wet ground, making a tremendous tearing sound. The giant tree slowly tumbled down to the earth. He fell with a mighty crashing sound, landing with a big thud. The proud oak lay very still on the ground, completely defeated by the powerful wind. It was no longer tall and mighty. The little reeds looked up slowly, their green heads swaying gently. They saw the great oak lying broken beside them. They felt a little sad, but also understood an important lesson. Sometimes, being flexible and bending helps you stay safe, even when you are very strong. It's good to learn to go with the flow.
Ever dreamed of being the hero? Now you get to be the star. Your adventure starts at TalesMio. Visit talesmio.com now.